Bolt. Eminem is celebrating his 16th straight year of being sober. On Saturday, the Detroit rapper took to Instagram to talk about the milestone. He posted a photo showing his new silver Alcoholics Anonymous coin in the palm of his hand. The 16 coin means Eminem hasn't touched a drop of alcohol or any other type of drug in 16 years. Friends and fans alike left supportive comments on the image. The post comes years after the Shady Records co-founder confronted his addiction to Vicodin, Valium, Ambien, and prescription drugs. Eminem was hospitalized in 2007 after nearly dying from an overdose on methadone. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the March Spring Sale, March 15th through the 25th, and get 35% off paints and stains with prices starting at $28.92. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Located in the heart of San Bernardino, California, the Teamsters Local 1932 Training Center is designed to train workers for high-demand, good-paying jobs in various industries throughout the Inland Empire. If you want a pathway to a high-paying job and the respect that comes with a union contract, visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
The staff of Smog Test Center in Baldwin Park is still open for business and optimistic about the future of our community. Smog Test Center encourages all listeners to shop small business and buy local. Share your local experiences online and by word of mouth. Together we can mend the fabric of our community. That community support is from Smog Test Center in Baldwin Park, where they are reminding everyone your hand is the heart of our community.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Spear, a licensed agent with Litchfield Insurance Associates here in Beaumont. A large portion of Americans don't have life insurance or don't have enough. Whether you need a temporary policy, something to help with income during retirement, or making sure your final expenses are taken care of, having life insurance is an act of love and security for your whole family. Having a local trusted agent makes navigating through the sometimes complex world of life insurance so much easier. And I would love to be the one to help you. I'm Kaylee Spear. For your free consultation, people are calling 951-769-0005. 951-769-0005.
KCAA.
Inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. But I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so
Okay,
I can
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living
With Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Welcome your tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, NBC Sports Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, you name it. I think I made up a new station there. I don't think there's a Streaker, but there is a Streaker. And why so many platforms? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone of more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip on the show, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk at all, formerly or now. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. Why not 100% of the time? If you're 100% happy, you're dead, because nobody can be 100%. I don't want dead people watching or talking or commenting at all. Instead, 88 is a very good number to aspire to. One, because it's most of the time. And two, because I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And in Mandarin, 8 ba is a homophone. Fa for good fortune. So double good fortune is what I want you to aim at. And the show balances out all of the news that is old and is CNN, constantly negative news that you can get anywhere. So you know to come here and tune in to balance out that bad news. I want to welcome Sci-Fi Mombi's back in my Cashew Gallery chat. I got to pop into her show yesterday. That was fun. It's always fun to see people like you listen to them or you hear them, or she's been a wonderful supporter in the chat. And then you get to see them in person. So that was lovely. And I think it's wonderful that your son was your co-host on the show with the little Batman emblem. But welcome to the show. Today is hashtag Talent Tuesday. And I have an interview for you that was on location in San Diego last month at the fabulous once a year, now it's I think twice a year event that my friend Dr. Greg Reed puts on called Secret Knock. And you cannot even pay to get in unless you're invited. So it's pretty exclusive. Get all that information at secretknock.com. And her name, the one that was on stage and you saw in the promo, she's extremely motivating. She's I guess a fellow, strong, got a lot to say, helpful, all of that. So, I gravitate towards that. And Marissa Friedman, not Marissa Pay, Marissa Friedman is a wonderful conduit for great people that come on and share their expertise with you. So that's what's coming up right after breakfast. You all know the drill. Breakfast with my guest today would be breakfast with Sci-Fi Mombi. And the top of the bun, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. The top of the bun is gratitudes, things outside of you that you're grateful for. And bottom of the bun is appreciation, which is gratitude turns inwards. What do you like about yourself? So this is a purposeful start to the show. And my Friday co-host, Alon, said it's too long. So I'm trying to whittle it down so that it's not quite so long, but it is a on-purpose exercise so that you start your day in the most positive way. You ready? I am grateful that I won the third round, I think, of the international karaoke contest that I was invited to participate in after doing the karaoke at Ellis Island in Las Vegas when I was out on location covering the United Natives event. So that was in February. And then that was round one. Round two, I just passed with they picked the top 7. I'm not sure how many. I think there were at least I want to say 30. I'm not positive, but it was nice to land in the top 7. And now the next round, I believe, ends in June, but I have to go check that out. But I wanted to be grateful that I won that the next level of that competition. I am also grateful that I am so fortunate to have a gym in my building downstairs. Oh, somebody gave me the finger. Thank you. Not that finger, but this finger. Please do. If you're driving right now, listening to AM 1050 or FM 106.5, please do not chat. Please do not put your gratitudes in there. But if you when you land, feel free to free subscribe to my YouTube channel where you will get an alert every weekday morning to tune in. And we start with breakfast. And I am grateful. Oh, yay! Sci-Fi's got one in here. I am grateful for another day of life, for my kids, for my family, for the growth of my podcast, for my career. Absolutely. It's fabulous. And make sure you type in the particulars of the name of the podcast and when you're on so people can I can put it up there. How old was your co-host son? I'm guessing he's not the only kid. I am grateful that I can roll out of bed before I can think about it, go to the gym, on the bike, go to the pool, do my laps, do a little story from the pool, and then come up here and do the show. So there's a lot of gratitudes in there. And with that, I'm going to move to the bottom of the bun. This is a model for you to practice what you're going to do before bed. So the bottom of the bun, you're sandwiching your day, right? Gratitude, and then appreciation at night. Left to our own devices, literally, that's a new one. Left to my own device at night before I go to bed, I'm going to be doing this, which I call MS scrolling, meaningless scrolling. And it is, it's not a good way to go to sleep because unless you're only focused on cute panda, dolphin videos or dance videos, in my case, I love World of Dance. I'm going to see if I can get a press pass into that finals in August. But I have fallen victim to the click bait. So the click, 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 and next thing you know, 45 minutes has passed, and you know all of this meaningless information about people that don't even matter to you. So if you resemble that comment, I want you to try to plug your phone in outside of your bedroom. I know it's a discipline. It's not going to be easy. And instead of that, I want you to think about 8 things that you like about yourself. It's an exercise. You are exercising your muscle to focus on not what's wrong with you, not letting that critic in your head take over before you go to sleep. No wonder you can't fall asleep when you're thinking about all the things you've done wrong, or worse, all the things someone did wrong to you. That is a formula for sleepless nights. So instead, start soothing yourself. Start caring about yourself. Start putting yourself ahead of everybody else by loving yourself enough not to hate people because it doesn't feel good, to love yourself because if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to? So that is my BS, my belief system for the foundation of good mental health. And I appreciate my ability to be a motivator. I get compliments and I'm working on receiving them fully. So I'm not saying, oh, no, it's okay. Or people say, oh, you're a celebrity. Oh, there's a celebrity. And like, yeah, I'm a celebrity in my own mind. And like that put down is not good for me. So self-care means, oh, I'm 88% great. 12% of the time I step in it, but 88% of the time I'm pretty caring, loving, creative, fashionista, a good communicator, good motivator, resilient. So there's my 8. And I want you to be able to do that too, because it's so important. Otherwise, you're going to look for approval in all the wrong places with the antenna. Who likes me? Literally, how many likes am I getting? Doesn't matter. Those are superficial. You've got to love yourself. You have to like yourself, because if you don't, you're in trouble. Because then, because no one's going to approve of you all the time. It's not possible. They got their own stuff going. And this is a particular tip for someone who used my Dr. Marissa 1 Dr. Marissa 1 at youcanbook.me, and scheduled a little soundbite with me. He doesn't have the funds to coach and do happiness coaching, but I gave him some, free tips to up level his happiness. Those of you who are listening who want to work with me, maybe you're temporarily without funds, just can you afford $20? My book, 8 Ways to Happiness, is particularly structured so you can work through the pain from your past. Because I didn't write this book as a psychologist telling you how to be happy. I wrote it as one of the 7 out of 10 of us who have had childhood trauma. And if you're in that boat, or maybe you didn't have childhood trauma and you can't figure out why, you just don't feel good. Heartbreak, loneliness, shame, control issues, loss, all of those I deal with in this book. So drmarissa.life, you can get a signed copy there, and I give you a free audio book with it. Or you can, every major bookstore is carrying it, Walmart, Target, grateful for that. And it is my tool to help everyone and fulfill my Happy 88 mission, which is 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. All right, and that's it for breakfast. Let's see if there's any more here. Oh, good. Sci-Fi Mom B. Oh, your son. He's my middle, and he's 17, 23, and 16. Good for you. It's wonderful having kids that want to work with their mom. My girls are like, thanks, Mom, but no thanks. So, all right. Let's see. If you're wondering what's going on in studio today, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind, 25 years strong, number one talk in the IE, number one here. And I am going to go now. Well, actually, Sci-Fi Mommy has free subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I now have a membership plan as well, $2.99 a month. JD, this is the call to action. He's my sound engineer who does the also marketing, so he's giving me some tips. He goes, you don't have a call to action. And I have to be honest, I don't like selling. I know that people are like, yeah, right, you're such a self-promoter. And I think that is why too, I don't like being shamed, but actually I own, yes, I am a self-promoter, because who else is going to do it? I do a course called Be the Best That You Can Be, and broadcast it. You can have the best idea in the world, you can have the best product, but if you can't communicate it, then no one's going to know about it. So I'm taking you say self-promoter like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but I am here not to sell you anything, but to offer and share that which I know does help some people, not everybody. I don't think I have the solution for everybody, but that's life. Everybody goes through something, and by going through it, they're in a perfect position to help someone else who's in a similar situation. And speaking of that, my on location interview that I'm going to play for you now, she is an extraordinary high performance coach. She's got a lot of energy. I put her little clip when she was on stage with Dr. Greg Reed on my Instagram, which is Doc Balance, for those of you who want more than just the morning show from me. I do post once a day with something that hopefully will make you smile. And let's see, let me give you a little introduction for her. She's going to give you her own introduction. She's the Liam Neeson of Leadership for High Performers. People call her to solve problems when the stakes are high. She works with Fortune 100 companies and multimillionaires, enabling leaders to have the tough conversations with themselves and others necessary to building wealth and their best life. Susie is an expert on human behavior and speaks and consults on stuff you cannot Google. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring you my on location from Secret Knock in San Diego interview with Susie Miller. Here we go.
And good morning. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live at Secret Knock. And one of the best things that I get to do down here is meet very special people, and powerful women is what I like to specialize with. So this is no exceptions. And the way that we're going to get to know her is I love doing this because I don't have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
And thank you. And when you call me, I say, who are you and what do you want? So, who are you and what do you want?
So I'm Susie Albert Miller, and I am known as a fixer. If you think Brene Brown meets Olivia Pope for the women, or as one of my coaches says, I'm the Liam Neeson of leadership, which means if there's a problem, clients call me in to help them identify it, fix it, and kick it to the curb. So I am a communications, leadership, and people, human behavior expert. And what do I want? I want the world to have tough conversations. Because if you're willing to have tough conversations, you actually can move up your level of success in life, in business, in any level of happiness you want. It really is about willing to look in the mirror, have hard conversations with yourself, and have the ones that are kind of uncomfortable with other people.
So, example of hard conversation would be your breath stinks, or you should use deodorant.
I mean, don't do that well. You got something in your teeth. I mean, we do that well, right?
Right.
No, a hard conversation is so much more of a and I actually had a friend that I chatted with, or a colleague, and they were talking about an incident at work where they really had an employee. It was actually a C-suite level who was not communicating with his team well. And he was such a icon in the company that nobody knew how to say, hey, you don't have good people skills. And as a result, we're crunching through. Our churn rate is huge because people do not want to work with you.
Right.
And so nobody was willing to have the conversation where they would say to him, when you approach I'm going to use the word, all my clients are Bob or Sally. When you, Bob, approach Sally this way, she has a response that is leaning back. Mm-hmm. And we want our top leaders to lean in. Right. And so let's talk about other ways for you to have conversations that will empower our team. And he was like, this is the way we've always done it. This is the way we're going to do it. And we know that doesn't work.
Right.
And so, but he was such a revered member of the business that nobody wanted to have the conversation with him. And so what we did was we languaged a conversation that said, okay, we're going to go in and say, we so appreciate you and all that you've done for the company. We know you're an icon. We know that the way you've done things has led us to this level of revenue, has led us to a place of success. And at this juncture, we need to adjust some things so that you can continue to be leading your team to that level. And that's really where, if you have that conversation, you move towards solution. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that conversation, everything's ours.
Got it. Now, have you always known that you were going to be bossing people around?
Well, if you ask my parents and my mom, I think they would say yes. I'm a middle-ish child.
The consultant child.
Yeah, the consultant child. Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it? You get it?
I do. And so you knew, what kind of a background did you come from to know that you really wanted to do this? And how would you say, what was your key gift, talent, and ability that made you successful?
Oh my goodness, that's such a great question. So for me, I have known from a very young age that I see things differently. There's lots of spider webs going on and I see them all, and was able to assimilate them and figure out what was going on in a really quick way, which was great sometimes, but really not often liked, right?
Right.
I'm a trained psychologist. I have multiple master's degrees, and I have 25 years in the industry. And as I moved into the psychology realm, I worked with a lot of DoD, Northrop Grumman, high-level entrepreneurs, really successful people who were very hot in the what's my lid? Why can't I improve? And when we begin to look at their life and what was going on in the stories they tell themselves, it really was that personal leadership. I have a mantra of, I'm the solution, it's me. If I'm willing to look at the problem as me, I then can
create a solution that I'm responsible for. And so what I began to do was, as a consultant, I moved into consulting because I could go in and I could impact more people by creating top leaders. So have I always known? Yes. Have I always owned it? Probably without even realizing it. Yeah. But when I really owned it, owned it. Nice. Then I got to a place where now I get to work with people who my impacting them trickles down and impacts millions of people. Right. And that, for me, is the most rewarding thing I can be doing. Wow. Now, let's put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. Oh, I love that, the moose on the table. You have purple hair. So you're talking about going into, that's big. Okay, it's big. Yep. Pink hair. Magenta hair. You're going to DOD, right? Yeah. Northrop Grumman. How effective is that? So I didn't have it when I first went into DOD. Okay. So for those of you, this is like my fun color. Everything that was pink was white. And one day I was like, I had a friend over and she had some pink shampoo and we played with it and I loved it. And it became kind of an on-trend thing for me to be. I am, it's kind of like trendy. I can fit in with the cool crowd. Yeah. Because of the way it's my one look. So I don't have lots going on. Okay. I have had that question asked of me. I was actually raised, one of the companies I work with empowers women in leadership. And we actually train women to move into leadership positions. We went to Dubai to raise $1 million for our business funding arm. And I actually asked the man who was introducing us to shakes and all that, do I need to fix my hair? Do I need to go back to white? And he's like, no. It is you. Your energy and your presence is so calming. Even though you're direct and fast, you can show up and be grounded. Yeah. And so it's not going to be a problem. Now, in the DC area, I probably wouldn't wear it like this. Okay. Or I'd bun it up, and I'd put on my glasses and my pencil skirt, and I'd look more serious. Yeah, and I think that is a good example of the kind of critical or tough conversations you have that people don't necessarily know. They know what their intention is. They want to be effective with blank and blank. Correct. But their impact, no one actually tells them the truth. Correct. About their impact. So they're left, well, why didn't I get that promotion? Why can't I close that project? Why can't I do those things? So I'll give you a great example. Yeah. I have a stylist. And when I did my hair pink, she looked at me, she goes, okay, when it was white, I wore bright colors. I'd probably sport those earrings. Right. And my little balls. And she said, now that you've gone away from white and black, which was my hair, you need to rethink your wardrobe. And so we're going to put you in. And I've always loved black, but creams and browns and navies, because you don't want this to distract. Right. Like, it's a real attention getter. Yeah. But if you're trying to do too many things at once, and how that is a metaphor for me in business is usually the problems, we try to throw spaghetti at the wall. Let's try this and this and this and this, and we never get to the root. And so if I get to the root and go, what is it that you want? Well, I want to be successful in my career. But I also want to put in a box of, you're supposed to look this way because you're an East Coast DC girl. Right. And so that was kind of my fun. But she said, well, we need to temper it and make sure we're achieving our result. Right. And so I think if you think about that with tough conversations, with self-leadership, one of the things I do a lot with leaders is I talk about, what is it that your people know that you don't know about you? Right? What is it that they know are not just your strengths, but the things that you let get in your way? So I have one client who's a people pleaser, and everybody knows that they're not sure they can believe what he says because, and this is multiple clients at this point, but a number of years ago, I had a man I worked with, and he loved everybody. But in the moment, it was like, I'll make you happy and you happy and you happy and you happy. And you know that you can't do that. Yes. You absolutely can't do that. So the work that we did was, how do I honestly in a moment go, you know what? I'd love to say yes, but I'm going to have to say no. Not now, not never, but not now. As he began to do that, his team began to lean in more, and then they would ask more because they knew he would give them a straight answer. Right. Yeah. Right. Really powerful. Very powerful. Now, entrepreneurs were told on a regular basis, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. You come to an event like this and you've got, 18 million people telling you, you need to invest in this, you need to do that. How do you separate out wise counsel and not so wise counsel? That's an incredibly good question. Thank you. Because in events, people can sound good at the surface.
And what I always look for, I ask a couple questions. The surface can be gold, like surface gold, like what's it called? Gold plated. Gold plated is only gold this thick. And then as you go down, it gets to the, baser metals. When somebody is wow and flash, I always say, ask a question that an expert would know. Like ask a question. So if I'm looking for a branding person and there's a lot of them, I would ask a question about what are you seeing in the trends of branding moving forward, and how would that impact what you would do with my brand? Now, somebody who's spouting what they've searched on Google or has their stuff done through ChatGPT is not going to be able to answer that question. They're going to give you the, they're either going to do well, or they're going to be visible all the time. Post on TikTok. They're going to give you a pat answer. Right. So that's one way. The other thing I do is I do not take advice from someone who isn't either where I want to go and further along the path. Because if they're where I am, I'll run with them. But if you're going to say to me, hey, you want to be on a YouTube channel and build something, I know you have the receipts. And so I ask the question of what have you done? Where have you gone? How long have you done this? Share with me something you've solved. And that, again, reveals the real. It reveals the real.
Good. So it's up to you to be savvy enough to ask those questions. And if there's really no one to blame, and I've been in that boat where, there's
how much money have I spent?
Let's not talk.
Yeah.
She's looking here.
Yeah.
So I know that I have to balance out that I know more than I think I do. I don't know everything, but I know more than I think I do. And I think that's one of the things that I really gravitated when you were talking to is, your number one fan, your number one content creator, your number one knowledge grinder, rooter, right? Is you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have to trust that you also know, not that you do everything yourself,
no,
but that you ask, I always go, what now, brown cow? Like, who am I supposed to meet? I don't actively, I go actively,
We actually have friends connected us.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And she's great, and I always say, commission or whatever. She's like, no. And, she knows what she's good at.
Correct.
And she knows what I'm good at. She knows what you're good at.
Yeah. And stays in her lane and makes, one of my favorite things with people is the other thing I would look for is, are they rising everyone? If I talk to somebody and they're bashing a colleague, that's data. If I'm with somebody and they're willing to mention your name and protect your name in a room. So she said to me, hey, you need to meet Marissa. And she said to you need to meet Susie.
Yeah.
I wanted to make this connection. And it's done from a genuine place.
Yes.
That is, people will often sacrifice character for cash. And if someone's going to sacrifice character for cash, they're not somebody you want to be working with.
Correct.
So you want to be able to walk away because cash is shiny object. It's shallow. And character is going to produce so much more rewards and wealth long term. And so you just kind of, like you said, you trust your gut. A lot of events are built on emotion, and I'm a yeser. So I've had to learn to go, oh, that feels good. I love that. To go, okay, give me a minute to think about it.
Right.
When it's a big purchase, I'll often phone a friend. I have some colleagues that are further along the path, and I'll say, hey, this offer looks good to me. This possibility is something that I'm considering. Will you workshop it with me? And what that does is it takes you out of the moment and allows you to go, what do I really think about this versus what do I feel about this?
Yeah.
And it allows you to innovate.
Fantastic. I have no idea how much time has elapsed. Do you? But
20 minutes. We got 10 minutes left.
We got 10 minutes. Good. I'm going to do a little station ID. If you tune in and you're wondering what's going on in studio today, it is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and the central place where you can get all 1,130 of the podcast shows of this show, plus red carpet interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, and Quincy Jones, and more on Dr. Marissa's YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you will get an alert every weekday morning to tune in to the show about hope and happiness.
And today, I am delighted to have a very special guest to bring to you. I met her at Secret Knock. We were introduced by a lovely woman who has been a colleague or friend and a connection for a long time through Secret Knock. And she put us together. And we are talking about how to make yourself a little more effective and or how to make your clients more effective. And the bottom line, moose on the table, has been having those tough conversations that you really don't want to have, especially if you're conflict avoidant or if you're uncomfortable with telling people the truth. This is certainly great advice. Now, I'm going to go particular. You do coaching, right?
I do coaching and consulting. I only do executive coaching.
Okay.
I don't do life coaching. I do business strategy. It's really business strategy. And the coaching element is we'll have the conversations that will support you through. Right. So I go in and I'm a strategist and a consultant, but with a highest level kind of C-suite or the founder, CEO, entrepreneur, I will support you through the changes we're making and implementing.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about time and women standing up and being pioneers to enter this particular field is traditionally a man's field, a man's world. Not that I'm not bashing
Me
men.
either. I love men.
But, yeah, I just got back into dating after 7 years, so I have to say that too. I call it the reverse 7-year itch. But I also have the same client base as you because of the doctorate in organizational psychology.
Yes.
And how do you make yourself at the same level as that to command the respect that often women don't naturally get?
Such a great question, Dr. Marissa, because the women I work with, that's what we do. The men need help understanding how they're coming across and what they need to do strategically to get out of their own way. Women need a very different framework to get out of their own way because it's the paradigm in their head. So when you ask me, how do I know? I just know. I've done the work, and this is what I call it. Do the work in the dark. So in the light of day, you can be the light that you are.
Ooh. Oh, say that again.
Do the work in the dark. So in the light of day, you can stand in your true power of the light that you are. When you do that, and I walk into a room, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. And I know that in my lane, I'm one of the best there is. In other lanes, I have colleagues that I can refer you to that are the best that they are. And because of that, I don't walk in and ask for respect. I assume respect. I have the receipts. I've done the credit. And that's the work that women need to do. We know that we're good. But so often we're looking for someone to say, you're amazing.
Yeah.
And that energy puts us in a one down position.
Yeah. We do it to ourselves.
We do it to ourselves.
And, not to blame or make you feel bad. We are somewhat conditioned to do that.
We are.
In society, in our homes. Some of us don't really listen to that conditioning. And others, that is where it starts.
Well, and I'll fess up. I'm still deprogramming. I'm still deprogramming conditioning that I've had about like the pink hair, what I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to show up. Deference to men is part of my heritage as a South Asian woman. And so this idea of one of the things that is the bottom line for me, if someone said you can only talk about one thing, what would it be? It's self-leadership. It's your relationship with yourself and how you lead yourself that affects everything else. So one of the big things, my USP is I'll help you out to have hard conversations.
Right.
I'll work with why aren't you?
Yeah.
What's going on inside of you that you won't?
Yeah.
And so for women, I go, what is it that you can do and begin to understand as you look in the mirror to identify? And I'll tell you a story that's personal to me.
Okay.
Taylor Swift came out with a song, and I know one line from it, and I love her music, and I think she's amazing. I'm so thrilled she was Times Woman of the Year.
Yes.
So she had a song, and there was a meme going around, and it was like, hey, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. And women were singing this into their phones. And I remember thinking, okay, I had a visceral response to it. And I had to look at why that response.
Yeah.
And it was twofold. One, I don't believe we should speak words over ourselves that could be not life-giving.
Correct.
But two, as a psychologist, you know this, especially in the beginning as a trauma therapist, I was doing a lot of work with people to go, you're not the problem. You weren't the problem as a child. As a child, you were told these things. Let's take that narrative out. But what I realize is as adults, we have to own. I'm not going to blame, but I'm going to name. I'm going to name it. So I was walking on the beach and I realized I had some paradigms. One of them was about my health and another one was about the patriarchy. Like I'm waiting for a man to invite me to do something. And I was like, wait a minute. If I say, hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me in the mirror, then I can say these words and they radically change my life. Hi, it's me. I'm the solution. It's me. And as I began to look at that for my own life and then with my clients, it's where can we name, not blame, but so this is what I learned as a kid. But as an adult, I can let that go, learn lessons, let it go and go, how is that showing up for me today? So for me, it was showing up in a way that I was deferring to some of the men personality clients I worked with. And I realized I wasn't serving them well because I knew I was a little hesitant.
Yeah.
And so I realized if I'm that problem, I look at where that came from, I address it. Now I can be the solution and go, you know what? I'm going to show up and offer my value. And if they choose not to work with me, that's okay. There's someone else waiting to work with me. And that shift enabled me to walk into a room like this to go all the way back to your question.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Thank you.
I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma as well.
Yep.
And I say always to my clients, what happened to you when you were young was not your fault.
Correct.
Ever. Not
Ever.
one iota.
Ever.
It's not your fault. You have no responsibility in what happened. However,
you're going to have to say however.
You do have a responsibility now that you are grown
as an adult
to choose whether to bring that oversized emotional baggage and drag it into your present and spew it onto your future.
Correct.
That's on you, boo.
That's on you, boo.
And yeah.
And no, I love that. That's on you, boo. And again, it's the same thing. So for me, I will use that trauma story. I was very aware that there was part of it that while I had worked it out, it was still part of my identity. I'm a trauma survivor versus no, I am a woman of today who's bringing this to the table.
Yeah.
And when I began to let that go, I realized that part of my identity that was keeping me back here, it was on me.
Yeah.
Not just the work of how am I showing up in my relationships, but how am I showing up with myself? And so that's on you, boo. I love that. And please hear this lovingly from both of us because we're part of the 7 of the 10.
Yeah.
Take a minute, take a beat and go, how is what happened to me showing up in my life as an adult? Because now as an adult, and this is one of my favorite quotes about children. Children are incredible observers, terrible interpreters. They observe everything. You observe what happened and you're like, the interpretation is, I must be responsible for this. There must be something wrong with me.
What did I do?
What did I do?
I must be not.
Or I'm powerless because this happened to me.
Correct.
And so as adults, we can go, wait a minute, what's the interpretation I'm running through my head? And we can say, I no longer am going to believe that. And I'm going to speak a new life, a new truth, which is I am strong from the scars of my past.
Yes.
I am. And from this strength, I'm going forward.
Yes.
And that's where I'm like, that's on you, boo. Choose strength, move beyond, or you're going to keep dragging it with you. And it's like a limp. Don't walk with a limp.
Yeah. And we all, as women, I have a powerful woman sister here who's, we're preaching to the choir, each other. But again, if you believe that you are unworthy, then you are unworthy.
You repeat it. You actually repeat.
You continue to play that out loud.
Yes.
And so I don't know about you, even the way we talk about our trauma is important, not because you want to reactivate the victimhood. I go so far as to say, if I had a choice to change everything, I would not change one iota because it chiseled me into the magnificent, one of a kind, wonderful, 88% fabulous, 12% of the time I step in it. Person that
I love that. 88% of the time. Right. I love that, Marissa, and this is what I would say. I hope you can look in the mirror and say, magnificent, beautiful, amazing person I am. Now, I love the 88% because I don't always show up as that. But you said something that's so important, and it's how we talk to ourselves. One of my keynotes that I do a lot is one of the lines in it is the results that you're seeing are directly related to what you rehearse. What you rehearse creates your results. And one of the things, I worked with a woman who was in the Wakanda Forever movie. Her character is Nomble. And I remember talking with her, and she said, I said, when did you become the character? And she said, before I ever showed up for the audition. She goes, in my head, I rehearsed the lines. I stood like her. I walked like her. I trained like her. So when I walked into the movie, I was her. And it was a beautiful moment to go, she rehearsed in her head, and then she became. And so I want to rehearse.
What you think you are.
Yes. So what you're rehearsing, look in the mirror and go, what am I rehearsing? About my possibilities, not just for my trauma, but about my possibilities, going again full circle of my working with men. What I rehearse is I belong at the table. They're lucky to have me at the table. I can help them solve the problems that are keeping them from the billions they want to make. And I rehearse that and I embody that.
Yeah.
And so my results are in kind. There was a time when I rehearsed a very different narrative, which I'm not going to repeat because I believe words create.
Absolutely.
But that's exactly what I was creating.
Yeah. Definitely. How do we find you?
How do we find me? The best way to find me at this point in time is on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, I'm Susie Albert Miller. I have a newsletter that I do called Leader Sync. It's weekly tidbits. You can subscribe for it. Leader Sync.
Oh,
so
I thought it was lead or sync.
Oh, that's
that's
I'm
not
gonna
a
make
bad.
that place. That's brilliant. You. But Susie Albert Miller, everything's branded under me because I am. What did you say? Magnificent. Tell me your name.
Magnificent. You are fabulous. 88% of the time. 12% of the time we step in it. But we are one of a kind, wonderful, no throwbacks in the bunch. You have unique gifts, talents, and abilities that only you can give as a direct result of the chiseling that you have.
I love that.
In growing.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Power.
Yes.
Power.
Well, I wouldn't, and I love that. And so like, don't, I'm very directed. Please don't, let me say it that way. Despise the journey to this place.
Yes.
Look at it as a director for what you're going to build next. Just let it direct you to the possibilities. I would not be here doing what I do had I not lived the life I've lived and been in the places I've been that shaped me. I love that idea of chiseled. Michelangelo, when he talked about his statue of David, he talks about how he had a piece of marble and he revealed the David. Yes. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The chiseling away of the stuff that and to me, I think about it this way. This is no longer working for me. We live, especially with an Asian father. He came from Pakistan. My mother's American.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Beautiful, brilliant people. But this idea of right and wrong, black and white, yes and no. And this idea is instead of, is it working for me?
Yes.
If it's not working for me, I'm going to thank it. I'm going to Marie Kondo my life. I'm going to say, thank you, goodbye. And so that gives us power to go, this is not working for me anymore.
Yeah.
What's working for me is I'm magnificent.
That's right.
One of a kind, 88% of the time.
That's it. That is it. Well, I'm so glad that I get to spend a little time with you. I always end my interviews with the question, to who or what are you most grateful for?
Oh my goodness. I am most grateful. You know, given our conversation today, I'm going to change what I usually answer.
Okay.
I live in an attitude of gratitude. I have a gratitude practice where I actually go through not just what I think I'm thankful for, but what I take moments and I feel what I'm thankful for, and then I put it into action. What I'm grateful for is the fact that I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for the scars and the wars that shaped me into the woman I've become. And I'm grateful for the fortitude and the grit to keep going. And I say that today because I'm sure there's people listening that wonder if their story ruined them, if their story broke them, if their history broke them. And I want to tell you no. And so my answer to you, which would normally be different, is like you, I'm grateful for what got me to chiseled into this.
Yeah.
So
beautiful. You heard it here. This is Dr. Marissa signing out. It's all about balance. I do this at the end too. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace.
World peace.
Through inner peace.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Marissa balancing out all the bad news with good news and good people. Go check her out one more time.
Susie Albert Miller on LinkedIn, Instagram, across the board. Susie Albert Miller, SUSIE Albert Miller. Thank you. That was fun.
Was that fun? It was.
Oh, I forgot I took myself out of the room. I hope you enjoyed that. Sci-Fi Mombi. She is definitely a powerful, great role model for women who maybe have grown up not valuing their own voice, not valuing who they are, and we really, that it always reminds me of Virginia Slims. They used to have a commercial. I'm dating myself, even though I'm hashtag ageless. But we've come a long way, baby, was their tagline, and we have, right. I can't even imagine. It wasn't that long ago that we couldn't vote, right? If you look at the continuity of the human race, it wasn't that long ago where we were commercialized as the one that would come to the door to greet our husbands with their martini and dolled up to serve them. It wasn't that long ago when we started working in the workplace, and it was not uncommon for the secretaries to have to put up with their bosses patting them on the butt when they walked by them. And that wasn't that long ago. It was one generation ago or two generations ago of the people that are listening. So it is, it change is one of those things. We can't just expect people to do it for us, but there's a balance between thou protesteth too much and not doing anything at all. So the work that both of us are cheerleading is that work that is that saying she did, the work in the dark. The work in the dark is challenging our own BS, challenging our own belief systems that we don't know, or that we aren't good enough, or that we that imposter syndrome, or fake it till you make it. I'm totally against that, because there's a level of pretend in there, and I live that. On the outside, I did everything to try to look like I had it together, and people would say, is there anything you don't do, or all of that? And I'd say, thank you very much. And then inside, I still had that seething voice of, you're not all that. And then if someone criticized me, it was like, that would take me down, because I love that African American saying, if there is no enemy within, then no one outside you can hurt you. But when you have a BS belief system that you're not good enough, or that you're not important, then guess what? All the criticism that says that is going to push your buttons. So knowing that I can't make everybody happy all the time, knowing that I do know more than I think I do, that my way isn't for everybody. Everybody's way isn't always the truth. All of those BS that make me believe that I'm not worthy are BS belief systems we have to leave at the door. And that's the work. So it's that balance, when to hold, when to fold. I'm not hot shiitake. I'm not a piece of shiitake. I'm just pretty good shiitake. And that is the work for women. That is the work, not to be angry about things, but to assert ourselves in a kind, caring way. We're good at being kind and caring. We're also good at being doormats. I remember, I used to say I'm worse than a doormat. I'm a wall-to-wall carpet, and allowing everybody to tell me what's what, or what to do, or, what I don't know. And so I do know that is definitely a button of mine, and working through, like, what do I know? What can I bring to the table? And I'm always going to be on the side of the underdog, because I know what that's like. And I know that there were women who really had to act like men in order to be heard, had to be more forceful than we have to now. And to those pioneers, I give full on credit. And this is almost a combination of Mental Health Matters Mondays, Talent Tuesdays with Susie Miller, and also the affirmation of, how am I going to get to be more happy? Well, the fundamental path to happiness is self-love and self-care, self-soothing, self-understanding, self-awareness, and putting ourselves on our own pedestal and backing it up, just like Susie said, honing your craft, working at what your unique talent, skill, and ability is. All of that is part of the joyride, this joyride called life. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I see the eyeballs continuing to roll in, and happy that you joined me today. Let's see, what do I have to give away? I think I have some tickets to give away. I had a great time, by the way. I didn't have time to upload it yesterday, but I'll be putting some clips on today on my social media. I got to hear Al Stewart, Year of the Cat, and Time Passages, beautiful songs that he put together, and his band was fantastic. This is credit and courtesy of one of my show sponsors, Where Music Meets the Soul at the Saban Theater. And they do a great job bringing Engelbert Humperdinck is coming back. He had to cancel. He got COVID when he was supposed to have his concert. I got to hear Christopher Cross there. Just a lot of great musicians. Temptations were there. So I am giving away, I think you said I could give away, there's not a show for a bit, but I did want you to go shopping yourself and see what titles you're interested in. Let's see, we've got, I don't know if I got tickets for that, but I know I got tickets for Bones, Thugs, and Harmony, Friday, May 31st. Engelbert Humperdinck, Saturday, June 29th. Let's see, and there was one more. Donnell Jones and Dave Hollister. Those are ones I asked for. I'm sure I can get more of those. So if you're interested in Michelle Collins, Gigi Delana, Mr. Big, Layali Zaman, reach out and see if I can get some Asian Oprah giveaway tickets for you. Thanks to Dana, who is a wonderful show sponsor. So that is the ticket giveaway today. And let's see, what's going on tomorrow? We've got doctors in the house tomorrow. You know, my co-host on Wednesdays is Dr. Tiffany Tate. She is fabulous. She's an MD. I'm a PhD, and she gave me her topic, which is, wait for it, I think it's still money. So let's look at what we're talking about tomorrow. Oh, yes. Relationships, family, friends, and finances. Do they mix? How do they mix? And the one thing I'll say, do you lend money to your relatives is one of those questions I get asked. Please do tune in tomorrow for more. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. Thanks for joining me today. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. See you tomorrow.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Witness for the prosecution, David Pecker, is back on the stand in former President Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York City. The former National Enquirer publisher allegedly paid Playboy model Karen McDougal $150,000 as part of an alleged catch-and-kill scheme to squash an affair story involving the former president. That money is not part of the charges, but prosecutors want to establish a pattern that leads to the alleged $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels to cover up Trump's affair. That money is the heart of the case. The judge in the trial is reserving his decision on whether or not Trump violated a gag order. Michael Kastner has more.
A hearing to determine if former President Trump has violated his gag order was held this morning before testimony in the trial resumed. During the hearing, Trump's attorney argued he did not willfully violate the gag order. After arguing Trump is being very careful to comply with the order, the judge told the lawyer he's, quote, losing all credibility with this court, end quote. Prosecutors want Trump fined for violating that gag order.
Protesters continue to call attention to the crisis in the Middle East on a growing number of college campuses. Demonstrators at Columbia University say they want the Ivy League school to divest from companies they say profit from Israel's violations of international law and Palestinian rights. The Senate will hold a key vote today to advance the $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific. The package includes $60 billion in military assistance for Ukraine, $26 billion in aid for Israel and humanitarian relief in Gaza, and $8 billion for Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific. It also includes legislation to force TikTok's Chinese-based parent company ByteDance to sell the social media platform or be banned in the U.S. Today is primary election day in Pennsylvania. On the presidential side of things, both President Biden and former President Trump have already locked in enough delegates to be the nominee of their respective parties, setting the stage for a general election rematch. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the March Spring Sale, March 15th through the 25th, and get 35% off paints and stains with prices starting at $28.92. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only, some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Tesla is dropping prices. Tammy Trujillo has details.
The electric vehicle manufacturer has faced declining sales recently, so now it's reduced prices of the Model X, Model Y, and Model S by $2,000. The company also announced layoffs last week, firing roughly 14,000 employees. The company's stock price has dropped about 40% so far this year amid falling sales and increased competition.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants the entire U.S. budget available on blockchain if elected. The independent candidate said during a rally in Michigan on Sunday that it would allow any American to look at the budget anytime. The blockchain is a ledger of transactions that's typically associated with cryptocurrency. Kennedy, familiar with the use of digital assets, accepting campaign donations in Bitcoin. And Apple is reportedly building an on-device chatbot. According to Bloomberg, the iPhone maker's large language model would be more secure since it would not be on the cloud. The strategy could also speed up response times for AI tools on future devices. Check report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Former President Trump went after the New York judge in his hush money trial right after a hearing over whether he violated his gag order. Judge Juan Merchan barred him from criticizing just about anyone connected to the case, excluding Merchan. Today, the judge said he's reserving a decision whether Trump violated the order. After Merchan's decision, Trump called him highly conflicted and once again said the judge should recuse himself. Tensions are high on a growing number of college campuses as protesters continue to call attention to the crisis in the Middle East. Demonstrators at Columbia University say they want the Ivy League school to divest from companies they say profit from Israel's violations of international law and Palestinian rights. Classes there were held virtually yesterday, but it's not a permanent solution to de-escalate, as many Jewish students say they no longer feel safe. As the protests spread, a number of arrests were made yesterday at Yale as well as New York University. Demonstrations also took place on the campus of Cal Poly Humboldt. Lisa Taylor, NBC News Radio.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Dell Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Dell's team live in Anaheim 2 days only at the Sheraton Park Hotel at Anaheim Resort. Saturday and Sunday, May 4th and 5th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
The Village Mud wants to remind pet owners of the importance of spaying and neutering. Shelters overflow with unwanted pets. Spaying and neutering helps prevent this and has many health benefits too. That message courtesy of the Village Mud at 66.5 East Foothill Boulevard in Claremont. For self-serve pet wash tubs and high-end food and treats for dogs and cats, featuring natural and raw. Call the Village Mud 909-624-3020 and like them on Facebook. Listening to the Tahibo Tea Club radio show, hosted by Milan Vukovic, founder of the Tahibo Tea Club.
Since Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco super tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus doesn't grow on, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. Parasites would be something like stomach problems or Lyme's disease. Inflammation would be something like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. Infection would be any infection from a tooth infection to a bladder infection. Viral would be something like herpes, HIV, or coronavirus. And fungus would be something like toenail fungus, yeast, or candida. But maybe more importantly, what the tea does is it builds the red corpuscles, which bring oxygen to our organs and cells, and our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because what it does is help regenerate new cells, everything from the cells in our skin so we look better to the cells in our organs so they function properly. And it can truly be miraculous for somebody fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to infection, diabetes, or cancer. Now, we've got a couple of listeners on the line. We've got about 12 minutes left to go. Go ahead, listener. You're live on the air with Milan Vukovic.
Oh, hi. My name is Jim. I'm calling from Aurora. I've been listening to your program. I've been listening to your advertisements and your programs for years, and I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger, but is it, I guess we're all kind of like doubters, like it can't be that good.
Yep.
But you do have a money-back guarantee, right?
No, we don't have a money-back guarantee, and the reason that we don't is that we don't do sales or specials or whatever cases. We do have a discount when somebody buys a 4-pack or an 8-pack. It's kind of like buying a soda. One soda is more expensive per soda than when you buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack, that sort of thing. And the reason that we don't have a money-back discount is because we're not claiming that it's absolutely going to help 100% of the people because everybody is different. So, for example, we know that it'll help 90% of people that are taking insulin and that have type 2 diabetes to get off of insulin in 2 to 3 months. Now, why it doesn't work on the other 10%, we don't know. I mean, are those people, just genetically their makeup is that, it won't help them, or are they eating Twinkies all day long, or whatever the case is? So no, seriously. So we tell everybody, here's what happened to these people, and God willing, it happens to you too. At worst, you're gonna, drink good colored flavored, water, tea, and hopefully it'll do for you what it's done for all these other people. And the only way you're gonna find out, however, is to try the tea. And, so from that standpoint, the tea's efficacy is exactly what we say on the radio program. All those cases are absolutely true. Everything that I say on the radio is true. Everything that's on our website is true. Everything that's in our literature is true. And to say it's going to happen to everybody would be unrealistic. There'd be no disease in the world. There'd be no disease in the world if that's what happened.
Well, it just sounds so promising. It really does.
Yeah, I tell everybody, listen, there's certainly hope it'll help you. If you got diabetes, heck, a 90% success ratio, I mean, that's a lot of hope. If you've got, prostate issues, I mean, you've certainly got hope. You got to drink something anyway. You know, whether you're drinking water or you're drinking tea. In my family, when we were introduced to the tea in 1998, when my father had colon cancer that spread to his pancreas, and the people brought the tea over when I was planning a funeral for my dad because he had 2 months to live, I'm looking at the people like they're Martians. I mean, my dad's getting treated at the Houston Medical Center, the biggest medical center in the world, and everybody's saying, hey, your dad's got 2 months to live. You need to put his affairs in order, which of course meant plan a funeral. And these people tell him the tea's going to help heal my dad. But, you know, I'm polite to the people anyhow because they came over and paid their respects and, you know, brought the tea with them. And my dad, to his credit, figured, well, what the heck? If I've got 2 months to live, what's the difference? I'm drinking water or drinking tea. I got to drink something anyway. He's still drinking the tea now, 23. No, seriously. He's still drinking the tea now, 23 years later. He's 89 years old, going to turn 90 in about 3-4 months. And at the age of 89, not only is he cancer-free, he's in such good health that he really does continue to mow my lawn, you know, which, like I've said before, I'd be embarrassed about it if it wasn't for the fact that he enjoys doing it, and I know it's good for him.
Exactly.
Tehibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TehiboTeaClub.com. Tehibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TehiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TehiboTeaClub.com. Tehibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TehiboTeaClub.com. Tehibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TehiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TehiboTeaClub.com.
Now, this next segment is a segment with live listener call-ins from previous shows, and you'll be hearing their questions, their successes, and their experiences with Tehibo tea. So please do give us a call and let us know how the tea works for you. Thank you. The detox happens immediately one starts drinking the tea, the first 3 to 5 days. Now, to answer the final part of your question there, Dave, was whether a person should start drinking a couple of cups a day and then ramp it up to 8 cups a day, or should a person jump in right away and drink 8 cups a day immediately? Now, either way, the tea will certainly detox the body. The difference being is that if somebody's drinking 2 cups a day, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to detox the body, as opposed to if somebody's drinking 8 cups a day. So if somebody is going to work 9 to 5, they may want to ramp it up because they may not have access to a bathroom. You're not going to get diarrhea or anything like that, but when you do need to go, if you have infestation, it'll get rid of the infestation either through the skin or through urination or through the stool. And but the cases where a person has severe infestation, that happens also right away if a person is drinking 8 glasses a day. So if a person doesn't have to go to work, in that case, it is better to just go ahead and get rid of the infestation, because that example that I had of the customer who was passing worms that are 10 and 15 inches long when he was going to the bathroom, can you imagine what relief he got? I mean, like he said, he says, I don't know how the heck I was living with them inside me. I mean, he says it was like a Hollywood movie when I went, a horror movie when I went to the bathroom. So, the choice is really yours, whether to start with a couple of cups a day. And if, on the other hand, you're not fighting a life-threatening condition, you can certainly start with a couple of cups a day. The tea tastes great. It has no contraindications with anything. You can take it on an empty stomach, on a full stomach, with medication, without medication, and it's got no caffeine. So you can literally drink it all day, all night. We know it doesn't have dramatic effect on having to, go to the bathroom or anything, because when my son was 8 years old, I used to cook up the tea for his little league baseball teams and football teams, and all the 8-year-olds used to guzzle it. The only thing I would do for them is I'd go in my backyard, pick up a bunch of lemons, chop up the lemons, and put them in the tea, and the kids used to guzzle it, and nobody had diarrhea or anything like that. So from that standpoint, you don't really have to take very much care with the tea. But like I said, if you are working, if you are working and, you want to play it ultra safe, just do a couple of cups a day and, then ramp it up little by little, and it'll still do the detox, but it'll take a little bit longer. Is there anything else on your mind today?
No, that is it. Dave had to leave for an appointment, but we thank you so much. This was very informative, and we thank you for the tea.
God bless you, and thank you so much for calling, and thank you so much for the kind words. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, hi, sir. Hey, I was wondering about when you were talking about compress and whatnot. That's very interesting. Do you have an idea how you make those? And then my second question, just as kind of an add-on, is does this help hemorrhoids?
With regards to the compress, you can't hardly go wrong. In other words, the tea is so effective topically that, in essence, you don't even need to make a compress. So if you just apply the tea topically, I mean, just take some in your hand and put it on wherever you want, or if it's a cut, just pour a little bit over the cut, something like that. It'll start to work. It'll start to work right away. So for a compress, the listener's wife's friend that had called in, what she did is she took some gauze and then wet the gauze with the tea, and then just wrapped her hand, or I think it was her wrist that got burnt. She just wrapped her wrist with the gauze, and that's how she started getting immediate relief in terms of the pain going away right away, and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can't hardly go wrong. Whatever's the most convenient. When I start to get, for example, an age spot somewhere on my skin or whatever the case is, because let's face it, none of us is getting any younger. And one time I had this age spot that was a black dot in the middle of my forehead. I mean, it looked like I'd stabbed myself in the forehead with a magic marker, and I was going to paint one of those red dots like I was going to turn Hindu or something, right? In the middle of my forehead. Now, had that spot been anywhere else on my body, I said, okay, no big deal. On the other hand, it kind of looked stupid, smack dab in the middle of my forehead. So what I did was I put some tea in a shot glass like I was going to shoot tequila, put that shot glass on the bathroom counter, and then in the morning, after I showered, I just dipped my finger in the shot glass and, put the wet finger on that dot a couple of times, and of course it dries off like in 20, 30 seconds, and the tea doesn't have any smell, doesn't have any oil, so from that standpoint, and if you apply a lot, I mean, just dab off